Hey guys, Rami here with your third stimulus check update and stimulus package update. We're going to cover news from Jerome Powell, the Fed chair, Nancy Pelosi, and how the House and the Senate are getting ready to pass the stimulus package with the budget reconciliation move. Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell said yesterday that the U.S. economy still faces considerable risks caused by this pandemic and said we shouldn't worry about inflation from more stimulus money getting pumped into the economy. He really supports more stimulus, and we know that many economists say the same thing. Even though he thinks the economy could be stronger in the second half of this year, there's still a lot of uncertainty because people are still getting sick with the virus, and we have the new variants of that mutated virus coming to the US now. And the biggest issue is how slow vaccinations are going on right now. So Jerome Powell said that we are a long way from a full recovery, and the Fed announced it would hold interest rates steady and continue purchasing $120 billion each month in Treasury and mortgage bonds. So this is very reassuring for the stock market because they're keeping the interest rates low and there are no signals yet of anything changing. Like, even if they kept the interest rates low but lowered the amount of bonds they're buying each month, this could trigger a signal that things are changing down the road. But for now, everything seems to remain the same for a couple of years to come. Jerome Powell also said something like 9 million people remain unemployed as a consequence of the pandemic, which is equal to the peak of the job losses during the Great Recession in 2009. This is insane. We're still at 9 million people unemployed 10 months into this pandemic. He then added, many small businesses are under pressure and there are other needs to be addressed, and the path ahead is still pretty uncertain. So basically, he's telling Congress, let me print money and you guys send it out to the people. Get more stimulus out. And hey, he's been sharing this sentiment for a long time now. More stimulus only means bigger and faster recovery, and the danger of not doing stimulus far outweighs the danger of doing more stimulus with the worry of inflation and deficit. So more stimulus is coming. At least I really do believe so. And speaking of Congress now, what are they doing? Yesterday, Nancy Pelosi released this letter where she said, on the legislative front, we are grateful to our committee chairs who are working on relief legislation as a basis for reconciliation. Should that step be needed, we hope and expect the Republicans in Congress will support assistance that will bring relief to their communities. But the need for action could not be more urgent, and Democrats will not take any tools off the table as to how the House and Senate can get this package done. We are grateful to members for their flexibility with regard to the schedule. So basically what she's saying here is that they are working on trying to pass this bill on a bipartisan basis, which is something that Joe Biden wanted. But if that doesn't work and they don't get the Republican support needed to pass this, they will use reconciliation. So in the background, the committee chairs are already putting the text of this bill together to get voted on as early as next week in the House. And at the same time, they're working also on the text that would make it a budget recon bill. Because for them to use the reconciliation measure, it's not exactly the same as a regular package. There are different hoops to jump through and stuff like that. But they are getting ready to use that, and they're not taking any tools off the table. They have 9 times to use this budget recon in the next couple of years. So I think that's enough to get what they need done over those 2 years. Plus, Joe Biden is already kicking off his presidency with a ton of executive orders, so they're making strong moves here. Now, whether that's a good thing or not, obviously depends if you're on the right or the left and if you support those policies or not. So I'm not saying it's good or bad. I'm just talking to you here in terms of the effect of these things on getting a stimulus package done. You guys know that I'm not taking any sides here. Now, what about the Senate side? This is what the Senate Budget Committee Chair, Bernie Sanders, said. That's an important title he has now, especially when it comes to passing bills with the budget recon method. So this is what he said.
So you've suggested that Democrats might need to use a process called reconciliation, which requires only 51 votes instead of the 60 to pass the coronavirus relief plan. You just heard Mitt Romney say that Republicans like him have shown that they are ready to compromise. So should Democrats move to pass coronavirus relief with 51 votes if they can't get Republican support, say, before the impeachment trial?
Well, I don't know what the word compromise means. I know that working families are living today in more economic desperation than since the Great Depression. And if Republicans are willing to work with us to address that crisis, welcome, let's do it. But what we cannot do is wait weeks and weeks and months to go forward. We have got to act now. That is what the American people want. Now, as you know, reconciliation, which is a Senate rule, was used by the Republicans under Trump to pass massive tax breaks for the rich and large corporations. It was used as an attempt to repeal the Affordable Care Act. And what we are saying is, you use it for that, that's fine. We're going to use reconciliation, that is 50 votes in the Senate plus the vice president, to pass legislation desperately needed by working families in this country right now. You did it, we're going to do it, but we're going to do it to protect ordinary people, not just the rich and the powerful.
And what's your timeline on that?
As soon as we possibly can. Look, Donna, I know these are crazy times. We've got a new president in. We're dealing with the horrors of this pandemic, which also have got to be addressed immediately. We have not done a good job in producing the amount of vaccine that we need and certainly getting it into the arms of people.
Do you want it done before the impeachment trial starts?
We got to do everything. I mean, this is not, you don't have the time to sit around, weeks on impeachment and not get vaccines into the arms of people. You don't have time to worry about vaccines and not deal with the fact that children in America are going hungry. We got to break through this old approach that the Senate takes years and years to do anything. We got a crisis right now. We can chew bubblegum and walk at the same time. The American people are hurting, and they want us to act. That's what our candidates ran for in this election. That's what the guys in Georgia won on. And we have got to reaffirm the faith of the American people in government that we can respond to their pain.
You mentioned that Republicans have used the so-called reconciliation process before, like in 2017, to try to kill Obamacare. You accused them of abusing the process back then. You said, quote, the function of reconciliation is to adjust federal spending and revenue, not to enact major changes in policy. But you alluded to this. You are the chairman of the Budget Committee, or going to be. You are already talking about using this tactic for things like paid family and medical leave, for universal pre-K and childcare, for climate change, tuition-free college, eliminating student debt, and the $15 minimum wage. How is that not what you criticize Republicans for doing?
Well, the devil is in the details of what we want to do and when we want to do it and when we have to do it. What we are talking about, by the way, are two separate reconciliation packages. Number one, the emergency one right now.
Right.
Get direct checks, get those checks into people's pockets right now so they can feed their families, and make sure that people are not evicted from their homes, make sure that states have the funds they need to get vaccines into people's arms. That's what we've got to do right now. And then as soon as that is done, we have to rebuild this economy. Unemployment is much, much too high. Wages are much, much too low. There are structural problems that we have ignored for years. Climate change is a reality.
And you're okay doing all of that through this process that you criticize Republicans for using? These are major policy changes.
These are major policy changes, but the devil is in the details. And I criticize Republicans, for using reconciliation to give tax breaks to billionaires, to create a situation where large profitable corporations now pay zero in federal income taxes. Yes, I did criticize them for that. And if they want to criticize me for helping to feed children who are hungry, or senior citizens in this country who are isolated and alone and don't have enough food, they can criticize me. I think it's the appropriate step forward.
So he wants to move forward with the budget recon method and wants to do it quickly because he doesn't want people waiting again for months and months to get the third stimulus check. It's interesting what his response was when he was asked about him criticizing the Republicans for using the budget recon, and now he wants to use it also. Basically asking if he's being hypocritical. The way he worded was clever. I have to give him credit for that. He said he criticized the Republicans for using it to help billionaires pay less taxes, and if they want to criticize him for using it to help feed children who are hungry, then so be it. So I see what he did there. Whether that justifies using the budget recon or not, that's a different story. So that's all I have for you today. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate you all. Please hit the like button on the video, share this video with your friends and family, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and click that notifications bell to be notified whenever I publish new videos and new content for you. Also, get your free stock from Robinhood just by opening an account. Robinhood has been crazy these couple days, so that's besides the point. Also, make sure to check the link for the Yara savings account. It's a new savings account that is FDIC insured, but gives you interest with a lottery system. If you use the link below, you'll get 100 tickets when you deposit as little as $25 for a chance to win up to $10 million. Then you'll get a weekly ticket for every $25 you deposit. I think this is the future of banking, as it encourages savings to earn more chances at winning a large prize. Also, don't forget to get your free stocks from Webull, potentially worth up to $1,600 when you deposit only $100, which is just like cash. You can take it out anytime you feel like it. All the links are in the description below. Please stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll see you in the next video.